Has there ever been a thing where the Yamato has stated what its goal was to an outsider? Like, how does that gameless actually know that they're going to Iskander? Hey everybody, welcome back to the Stoneface Reactions. I'm Theta, and we're back with another episode of Space Battleship Yamato. As always, we come back with a board and some notes, so let's go ahead and start off with the board. It is a relatively short changelog, as opposed to like the initial ones where we still got new characters. This time we changed the line connecting Gale and Domel to white, and we added a green line from Gale to Dessler. I guess green is the most appropriate for the tattletale snitch. I guess it could be white because Dessler probably don't give a shit about Gale, but I'm gonna give it benefit of the doubt. Say green. Well, that is it for now. So let's go ahead and go into notes. I know the Gamela's fleet has been wholly ineffective since we started the show, but really, what happened to the fleet Domel brought with him to Balin? Used in tandem with the plan he had, they surely could have driven the Yamato into the sun before Gale managed to screw up the entire plan. That, and they could have caused significantly more damage to the ship, preventing it from doing what it did. Instead, they moved all of, 500,000 kilometers away and sat back and watched? Why? I mean, Domo is supposed to be some sort of like military genius, but he's not coming up with anything better than Dessler did back before Dessler. I was about to say got more fleshed out, but he really hasn't been more fleshed out either, so I don't really know. I totally don't get how we are so waylaid by the Baranadians. Sorry, I'm not saying that right. Baranodons? Plight. I get that maybe painting the crew as good guys now and then is good for the impression of the show, but we didn't stop to rescue the Bimarians, who are grinding themselves up into paste for the Gamless Empire. If not them, then why these? Worse yet, they remind everyone that they are behind schedule. So putting all of Earth at risk for these animals while ignoring an intelligent sentient species? Also, we get shown skeletons when the Baronians. Sorry, I'm saying it wrong again. Baranodons. Baranodons were a bunch of small creatures that fused together into one large thing. They shouldn't have these large skeletons. Dessler's call makes no sense either. The sun is already falling. The base is going to be destroyed. Saying not to do it is already a no-go. Domel getting scared and pulling back last minute not only accomplished nothing, it shows a flaw in his character. Honestly, he should have just ignored the order and proceeded as planned. At least that way they could have destroyed the Yamato. Better to go back with a failure and a win than just two failures. Hope that the destruction of the Yamato gets you in his good graces beyond the destruction of the base might do against you. My last note here. Through everything that's happened in the show so far, Kodai is just the worst choice for acting captain. As I've said before, my money would have been on Tokugawa or Shiro. Kodai is too hot-headed and unfocused on the mission at hand. Nothing shown so far has assuaged that idea. Obviously, the show is going to make him the right pick, but as of right now, it's an insane choice. I think I've said this throughout the entirety of the show. Kodai is, I don't know, he's like a character you would find in a modern isekai, right? He just goes off and you need to have him go on an arc to find himself or to make him lose his ego and figure out what's actually important. But he does that like every time and then comes back with a new storyline about how he's fighting somebody or something. It's just like he hasn't learned yet. And I don't think that his connection to the captain through shared life experience or what happened to his brother makes up for that. Obviously, also, my date system, I believe it is now January 28th, where I have listed Yamato defeats the Balin base with 253 days left to go. So, as I said, those are my notes. We went over the board, so nothing left to do but to hop on in and see what we get.
But before we get started,
make sure that you hit the like button,
hit that subscribe button,
comment down below to feed that algorithm.
On top of all that, if you want to watch more shows like this,
unfiltered,
uncensored,
and uncut,
as well as some early access stuff,
you can check it out over on the Patreon.
It's just $5 a month, but hey, no pressure.
There's zero pressure in order to do that. It's just a little bit of extra support, and it would be greatly appreciated.
Deadly challenge from the Domel fleet. Okay. Now I understand why we held back. The fleet, not for any smart reason, mind you. I feel like this is a time issue. Is this a new opening? I mean, it doesn't seem visually like a new opening, but this is a different song, right? It's either that or I'm playing it at half speed. Oh, no, never mind. That sounds more familiar. Alright, anyway, I got thrown by that. That sounded like a different song for a second. Yeah, what was I saying? Oh, it feels like they're buying time. Like they needed more episodes than they actually had. Because this is exactly what we did with Pluto, right? We defeated the Pluto base. And then we kept going. And then, God, what was his name? I can't remember. The commander of the Pluto base then challenged us with his remaining ships. Well, what are we doing? We defeated the Balin base. And now Domel, who kept his fleet 500,000 kilometers away, is now up for a fight with the Domel fleet. So, I don't very much appreciate repeating narratives. Also, it doesn't seem like a halfway point. If you follow the line, I'm sure we could measure the line and it's further away from the solar system than... Technically, it is a graveyard. We saw all the skeletal remains. Did it? I believe Dassler held off the assault. Technically Gale, if you want to follow all the way back to origin. I feel like something has happened to the soundtrack. This is definitely different. I mean, technically Dassler's fault, but you can't blame the commander. Fair. That's a fair point. I mean, he's not wrong, but at the same time, you can't blame the Fuhrer. I mean, My problem here is I support Domel even more now, knowing that he has basically to fight against his own side. I could walk over to you, but it's not what we invented this walking table for. The next commander in line? Well, no, it's not going to be Gale. I'm now just wondering how they're going to shorten the next show to not double down on the Pluto Balin narrative. Because this is so much better than the Pluto narrative, but Pluto was also just very important to the show. Strong job, my dude. To be fair, kudos for not going all flippant with a "that's what I was trying to do." Oh, is this where we like update the Yamato with alien tech? I mean, I thought that was the thing a long time ago. I mean, you already bypassed the supply ship for building the new base at Pluto base, so... Oh, picking the site of the fight. Okay. I'm surprised Gale is still in this loop. Also that they're like still working with one another. By which I mean, like, they're not arguing or fighting. This is all your fault, Gale, or, you know, that sort of thing. It's gonna be a dimensional drill. Is this where Gurren Lagann got the idea from? No, okay. I was thinking, since he was talking about a dimensional thing to send the fighters through, that the dimensional missile would, or that would be a dimensional missile doing the same thing.
ヤマトの艦長に次ぐ。そろそろお互いに雌雄を決する時が来たようだ。諸君がイスカンダルへ行こうとするのと同じように我々は地球を欲している。もしどうしてもイスカンダルへ行こうというのであれば、諸君は我が軍を正面から打ち破る必要がある。本日より7日のうち、七色星団において
Has there ever been a thing?
太陽系方面作戦司令長官ドメル、ヤマト艦長殿。
Has there ever been a thing where the Yamato has stated what its goal was to an outsider? Like, how does that Gameless actually know that they're going to Iskander?
しかし古代、まだ我々はガミラスのすべてを掴んでいない。真田さん、それはどういう意味ですか？こうしてあからさまに正面切って戦うのは不利だということだ。じゃあこんな挑戦状を突きつけられても尻尾を振って逃げ回れと言うんですか？
Exactly.
古代、もう日程的に余裕はなくなっている。航海班の立場から言わせてもらえば、戦闘によるロスは。
No, what you should do is you should accept the challenge, let them gather their fleet somewhere you're never going to go, and just keep going straight ahead.
みんな、今はとにかく艦長がいらっしゃるんだ。祭壇を下していただこうじゃないか。挑戦を受ける。一度は通らなければならない我々の試練なのだ。必ず勝ってイスカンダルへたどり着かなければならない。
Yeah, I mean, maybe you should face this challenge after you get the radiation thing. There's no saying that you have to face this challenge at any point before you get the thing back to Earth. Conceivably, you could just outrun this fight and save as many people as possible. Almost feels like they based that on an Earth carrier. I hope they don't destroy this thing in this episode, because they are using a lot of different angled shots of it. They really want us to see it. Or the fact there's 3 of them. I didn't take that into account. They haven't really gone over why they want to emigrate away from Gameless either. The amount of time that was on screen... Okay, there we go. I didn't get the final part, which was the dude's name. That'll be for the rewatch when I'm taking notes and affecting the board and whatnot. I want to say it was Ghetto. So we got Ghetto, Behringer. Cloys. Why did they load up all the fighters in space and then land? Really feels like the fighters came from the planet. Haydn. I guess it's just a class of ship that we've never seen before.
そうか。やあ、みんなよく集まってくれた。ルビー戦線から参りました。
I was right. Ghetto. Got it.
サファイア戦線から参りました。バーガーです。ダイヤ戦線から参りました。
Ah, you ruined the theme, Cloys.
オメガ戦線から参りました。ハイデルンです。
I would say 2 of the 3 non-red ships had red-colored gems named after the theaters of operation. It would have been ironic if all 3 of them had red gem names, and then the red ship, or the ship commanded by the guy, had a non-red theme.
な張り切ってますよ、佐渡先生。なんじゃ、やがましいぞ。ツタ落ち着いたらどうなんじゃよ、おめえも。何が起こっても同じ人ですね。いちいち大騒ぎしてちゃ身が持たん。どうじゃい、お前も一杯やらんか。
He never did continue his experiments on the animals, did he? That was like episode 1 and it was gone.
なかなかやるじゃないの。もう一杯。お前も結構付き合えるな。
That was what, 8 or 9 bottles empty behind him?
これが予想図だ。ここはスペクトル聖域だ。それぞれの星がカリウム、ナトリウムなどそれぞれのスペクトルに発光している。その上、ガス状の暗黒圏があり、黒色矮星がたくさん。
What does a spectral planet mean?
なるほど。ガス星雲っていうのは大変だな。うかつに入り込んでレーダーを潰されたら肉眼で勝負だ。苦しくなるぜ。
なんで決戦がなんでビクビクするなってんで。
アナライザー、みんなが真剣になっている時に不謹慎だぞ。
Why is Analyzer drunk in most of the series episodes?
俺様の鼻息で吹っ飛ばしてやる。
のんきなやつだ、まったく。
Like, we're way too early in for this to be the overall final combat with Gamlis or anything. So I don't anticipate it's going to be like a meaningful combat, but I honestly just don't know what comes after this. Like, this is the largest assault though Gamlis has done on the Yamato.
いよいよガミラスの命運をかけてヤマトと戦う時が来た。我々は全てをここにいるドメル将軍以下の勇敢なる戦士諸軍の双剣に委ねる。諸軍の凱旋を待っている。存分に戦ってきてほしい。
Honestly, I would have relegated Gale down to like a fighter pilot. Get this guy out of my command.
ではこれより出発する。諸軍の健闘を祈る。全員上官せよ。
ドメル氏、お聞かせいただきたい。万一ドリルミサイルでとどめをさせなかった時は。
その時はデスラー総統への軍人としての忠誠心が武器だ。
Another ramming attack.
デスラー総統への忠誠心。
忠誠心では貴様も私に負けんだろう。
I mean, we're continuing the sound effect. What are we doing?
全艦直ちに発進せよ。
I mean, it was either like a gun salute or they're opening up the dimensional thing. I guess if this really was a repeat of the Pluto incident, then these ships will be ramming the Yamato at some point, or attempting to. Because that's also just my interpretation of Dessler's loyalty thing. I mean, he almost had you with the star thing, but that all got fucked up. Color-coded ships.
我々はこの暗黒圏の外でヤマトを待ち、作戦に入る。ヤマトは七色星団の発する電磁波でレーダー妨害された上、第一次攻撃隊はヤマトのレーダーを叩き壊す。こうなればあとは完全に我々のなすがままだ。ヤマトは我々の位置を突き止めることもできぬまま、
I mean, it'll have detected you when you attack and destroy its radar.
内部から爆破されるというわけだ。なるほど、さすがドメル司令。これではヤマトは手も足も出ないですな。だが油断はできん。ヤマトの艦長沖田という男はただ者ではないからな。
Based on 2 communications you've ever had with a man.
よし、自動操縦に切り替えろ。はい。森、全員を展望室に集めてくれんか。はい。おい、一体どんな風にしてくるのかな。いっぺんに片付けるに。
I mean, if they were smart, they would come up to you right now. Right now that everyone is away from their duty stations.
しかし、いずれは出くわす相手なんだぞ。だったら少しでも早く片付けた方がいいじゃないか。けど、もし負けたらどうするんだ。しっ、艦長だぞ。将軍、いよいよドメル艦隊との決戦は間近に迫った。挑戦状から押して彼らも並々ならぬ決意で挑んできている。我々も祖国の危機を救うため、ひいては全宇宙の平和を獲得するために全力を投入して勝利を収めなければならない。だがもちろん戦の勝ち負けはやってみなければわからん。ここで諸軍、私はしばしの別れの挨拶として水杯を交わしたいと思う。
Again, I still think it'd be smarter to accept the challenge and then warp away.
しかしこれは死を決意するためのものではない。いいか、将軍。もう一度ここで諸軍と共に勝利の宣言をするための水杯だ。
Sake cups of water.
栄光を祈る。
Yeah, I guess you don't want the whole crew to be drunk on the verge of battle.
ネズミが袋に入っている。
レーダーが効かなくなりました。
総員戦闘配備。総員戦闘配備。
I just don't think we're ever gonna make it on time.
人類の攻防をかけてこの一戦に期待。
Because we legit just get sidelined every time Gamlis shows up. We never don't fight them. Gamlis really wanted to screw us over. They would just send a small challenge 100 times in a row. We would just run out of time.
全艦戦闘配備。全艦戦闘配備。
Spectral planets, they say.
ヤマトとドメルの艦隊とが祖国の明日をかけて戦おうとしている。ヤマトよ、人類は君の帰りを待っているのだ。人類滅亡の日まであと200と15日。あと200と15日。
Did we spend 40 days on this? Wasn't it like 250 something last time we counted? I have a lot of stuff to say because I have 2 minds on this episode, but I know we have the editor's notes coming up. So just waiting for that. Only this episode was commissioned to Sunrise Studio, including animation direction, arrange, scheduling, and painting. Only this episode? Domel was court-martialed on the homeworld. There were ordinary citizens behind the officers. I figured that. We saw the planet. The clothes color for Dessler's maid is different from episode 4 and episode 7. Those were maids? I thought Dessler just had an entertainment entourage. Okay, my thoughts. I really feel like, for the most part, this episode was essentially filler. I know that doesn't really apply here, the terminology for filler, but I feel like there was so much faff in this episode of just watching the same ship animation shots and whatnot that it really felt like half of the episode was taken up with that, of seeing the ships launch, of seeing the ships come together, of seeing the same officers standing at attention, watching stuff over and over again. And I feel like the purpose of that was just to set up a cliffhanger at the end of the episode so that we can then bring back into the next episode the start of this fight. Here's my problem: is I don't imagine Domel is going to die either. So I don't know. Like, I don't know what the outcome of this is. But again, yeah, that's my major problem. I feel like the intent was cliffhanger, and they didn't know what to do with the vast majority of the middle of the episode. And I guess if you're watching 1970s anime, that some of this shot would be like, oh man, that looks so fucking cool and stuff, right? I don't want to be that guy to be like, oh, this is 2025. Watching all these shots over and over again isn't that interesting, but I hate to say it, it's not that interesting. The initial shots are interesting. The repeated shots, not so much. And I don't know what to do with that, right? It's just not that fun to watch the same fighter craft land in the same shot, or in 3 different shots, the same landing 3 different ways. It would be more interesting to show us those things mid-combat, where the timing and, generally the tension would be ramped up. But these are ships like taking on fighter craft and then landing. It's like, where did the fighter craft come from? Did they launch from the planet, land on the carriers, and then the carriers landed on the planet? Why? And I don't need to see that for 3 different carriers. I'm not going to be sitting here thinking, I don't think all 3 of those all 3 of those carriers got loaded with fighters. No, it just doesn't make much sense. Yeah, so it'd be good if we were getting like a lot of character build up for each of these guys. Like, oh no, we spent all those episodes with Ghetto, and now I know what he's like. But now he's interacting with that other that other carrier commander. And I wonder how those interactions. I was like, no, these are just 2 brand new guys that are just going to get thrown out there, probably die, and will it matter? As much as I don't like it, Gale is a repeated customer at this point, right? He has come back, 3 or 4 episodes? With the Pluto guys, decided to ram their ships into the Yamato and failed. At least I was invested from the element of, these 2 fuck-ups have been in 5 episodes so far. I'm slightly invested in seeing what happens to them. 4 guys got introduced this episode, and we spent a lot of time introducing them. And I do not know if that investment is going to be worthwhile. I'm feeling like it won't be. And don't get me wrong, this was a fine episode. We've had worse episodes. I just wish they had packed in more content rather than setting up the cliffhanger. I'm fine not having a cliffhanger. Granted, I am basically, I'm not, sorry, I forgot what the word is. When you watch a bunch of a thing back to back, I'm watching 1 episode a week, which is probably the same amount that people would have watched back in the day. It's just, I'm fine with it. Don't need a cliffhanger. You could have ended this episode mid-fight, and I would have come back next week to watch the rest of the fight. Would have been fine. Anyway, I think I'm just rambling on. That was my major problem with the episode, is the pacing of it. So, that said, I will come back next time with the additions to the board that we saw here. I'll come back with new notes. But otherwise, until then, I have been Theta, this has been Stoneface Reactions, and we will catch you next time. Bye-bye.
Hey everybody, thanks for watching another Stoneface Reactions. If you have an idea of another video we could go ahead and watch, go ahead and put it in the comments down below and we'll add it to the wheel. Be sure to like, comment, and subscribe, and let us know what you thought about this video and what parts you liked. And until then, we'll see you next time. Is this too goofy?